name's Dan, and this video is the last one in a short series that I'm doing on how to handle interscript communication in Unreal, which is having one script in one object talk to another script in another object somewhere else. And in this one, I'm going to show you the tricky way of managing to get something to communicate with the level blueprint. And when I say tricky, it is decidedly freaky. When I originally started using Unreal, I quite quickly got to a situation where I felt like I wanted to contact the level blueprint from something in the level, and had all sorts of problems finding out how. And unless they have made changes since then that I'm not aware of, it is still quite a difficult thing to achieve. And the reason why you might want to achieve it is because often you're doing things in the level blueprint that you shouldn't, like keeping Metascore or things like that, which is not a good place for doing that sort of thing. But I'm going to put aside the reasons why you might want to do it and just show you a way to do it. And it's using an exploit around a mechanism that Unreal provides in terms of creating your own event management system. So the setup that I've got here is a third-person template, and this is actually very similar to a couple of videos ago. I've got a little blueprint here, which is a cube, which has an event in it. Let's just open that up so you can see. Has an event in it called launch, so that's a custom event, and that will apply an impulse to the cube and launch it up in the air. And the previous one, I had the value of this as 35,000, but I've increased that to 100,000, so I've got a really big push going on. And the reason is because rather than pushing all of them upwards, I want to pick that one in the middle and push that one upwards. Okay, so we could do this more straightforwardly by using an object variable inside the pad. It's going to be triggered when we walk on the pad. But I'm just using this as an excuse to contact the level blueprint from here. So we're going to do it through the level blueprint. So let's go to the level blueprint first. In case you didn't know, the button here brings up access to the level blueprint. It's in my opinion, in a slightly weird place. And here it is. And I've actually got, excuse me, I'm going to get rid of that. That was the code that was in there whilst I was testing this. So you might have seen what that was. You might want to pause and go back and look, but I'm moving on quickly and I'm going to show you how this works from scratch. So what I want to do is I want to apply that impulse to that particular cube that we've got. So the level blueprint, one of the advantages to it is that it can access any objects, which usually actors, which is in the level. And I'm just going to move this to a place where I can access it, because the way to do this is to drag it in. So I've got that one highlighted. I could highlight a different one. You see on the outliner over there, it highlights it. And we can drag it from there into the event graph, and we get a reference to it, which is really useful. And that thing there, that cube, has got that launch event. So that's what we want. The question is, how do we access that, and how do we do something in here? And we kind of have to do it backwards, because we can't, well, let's try using a custom event. I'll show you what I mean. So let's call this custom event, and I'm just going to call this launcher. And I'll just zoom in case you can't see that on your resolution. So we've got the custom event launcher, which is going to launch that thing. So what I really want to be able to do is to get hold of the level blueprint from the switch, the pad that you stand on. And from there, I should be able to hit that launcher. There we go. So we're in the pad here. And here's the problem. which is that when you right click and you want to do get level, it appears get level. But then when you mouse over it, return the UI level that the actor is part of, and it's not the level blueprint. So don't be fooled by that. That's not the thing that you want. Is there anything else? Get map is one of the worlds, so get map size. No, that's about sprite. Get worlds. It's not appearing as far as we can see. Getting hold of the level blueprints in a different blueprint is, as far as I know, actually impossible. There may be a way of doing it that I don't know of, but this is a problem that other people have come across as well. So we're going to use it. Going to do it in a different way. We're going to use the thing down here on the right-hand side called an event dispatcher. Okay, now this is meant to be part of this custom event system that you might create, but we're going to repurpose it for our own purposes because it just happens to work. So we're going to press click and we're going to say stomp, which is going to, it's being kind of stood on, right. And we want to make that event happen, so we're just going to pull that into our scripts, and we're going to use call. There's various different binding here, which is how to use it properly, but that's advanced stuff that I don't want to go into. Right. So we're going to call the stump, and what that does is that does what's called broadcasting an event. And what we want to do is to get the level blueprint to be able to accept that when that's happened and trigger what's going on. So let's go back to our third-person map blueprints. Again, you'd hope it'd be nice that if we'd be able to get that event. So call it event stomp. No. So there, can just call it stomp. No. Okay, we can't get hold of it. Here's where it gets really slightly tricky. What I need to do is to go back to the level editor, find the thing that I'm wanting to listen to, and select that. So I've got the pad that I want to listen to selected. And then go back to the third person map, right click again, and type in stomp. And magically, it's appeared. So I now can use that stomp event, and I'm going to plug that into the launch. So we're not using that custom event. We're using that dispatched broadcast event instead. And that's the way to connect it. And we'll demonstrate it working in here. So what it's doing is it's when we stand on that pad, it'll send that broadcast event called stomp, and the third person map, so the level blueprint, picks it up. So we don't know in here that we're actually talking, not in there, that we're actually talking to the level blueprint. There could be all sorts of things that are picking up on that event. It just so happens we're going to do it in the third person map, which is the level. Right. And this is where I always at this point I have that slight kind of wonder, oh, I hope it's actually going to work and I've done it all right, because I'm doing live programming and I'm going to watch that. See? Hasn't worked. Why hasn't it worked? So I've decided to leave that error in, whatever it was, just because it amuses me to do so. So I went away to try and find out what was wrong, and I have recreated the things that I've got. So I have got the third-person map with that stomp, which is going to invoke launch from that cube, and on the pad I've got, in fact, I've got call stomp twice. So as part of my debugging, I put a string in there and then I call it again just to see what was going on. I'm just going to, once again, scarily remove those and see if it works. So the thing that I found was that it looked right. So I don't know what was wrong or what I'd done wrong. There might be something to do with the fact that it's a bit of a freaky thing going on. So let's fingers crossed and see if it works this time. I have just tested this, but I haven't removed that string and the other stomps. So there we go. It's actually working. It's pushed that one up. So what I don't know is why it didn't do it the first time. And the other thing I don't know is where that block has now gone, because I pushed it way off into the sky. This is fallen somewhere. There we go. So, as long as you don't make the same mistake that I made, whatever that was, that is how you can contact or send a message to the level blueprint. And that's it from me for now.